Problem-solving skills help you determine why an issue is happening and how to resolve it. Despite the best-laid plans, many times these decisions are made in the moment, as often the work plan and tasks change from the original plan. This is often termed as scope change. Many times a worker must go to Plan B. This could be because they are utilizing a different tool than described in the plan, or the work environment is different than what was expected. Good problem-solving skills allow you to identify the issue, determine the underlying cause, come up with solutions, implement those solutions, and evaluate their effectiveness. When it comes to safety, we should strive to make problem-solving a proactive skill rather than a reactive skill. The goal is to address safety issues before they can pose a threat or cause injury. Here are some helpful problem-solving tips. It's important not to panic or rush into making quick decisions when faced with a significant problem. Take some time to think about the problem and the options that are available to you. You might find it helpful to put your initial thoughts down on paper or talk through your thinking with a colleague. Although it can be tempting, it's important not to jump to conclusions when faced with an unexpected problem. No matter how confident you might feel, ensure that you have hard facts and evidence to support your assumptions before taking any action. One of the most straightforward but effective ways to start tackling a problem is to write a short statement about it, underlining key words. Make sure the language you use is clear and unambiguous, and try to be as specific as possible. For example, our IT system is no longer suitable for the volume of work in our team. Writing the problem down in this way can help you to pinpoint what the core issues really are. It can also be helpful to break down the problem into its component parts and to identify some next actions to help you tackle each aspect of it. For example, if a project is behind schedule, your actions might include meeting with the project team to discuss the issue, liaising with contractors or suppliers, and updating project stakeholders and other managers. Adopting a process-led approach can often be an effective way of tackling a problem in a structured, logical manner. A popular problem-solving process involves taking the following 5 steps. 1. Defining the problem. 2. Analyzing the problem. 3. Generating potential solutions. 4. Selecting the best solution. 5. Taking action. In more complex situations, a process-led approach may not be appropriate, and you may wish to consider adopting some alternatives to tackling the problem. 2 alternatives are outlined below. Appreciative inquiry, AI, works on the principle that by appreciating what is good and valuable about a particular situation, and by questioning why this is the case, it's possible to discover new possibilities for improvements. Creative problem-solving involves 2 kinds of thinking. Creative thinking, which is open-ended, divergent, and imaginative. And critical thinking, which involves analyzing, comparing, and refining different possibilities. Combining these 2 types of thinking can help you approach a problem in a balanced manner. There are many tools and techniques available to support the problem-solving process. Depending on the nature of the problem, you may find one of the following popular techniques helpful. Edward de Bono's technique encourages a group to approach a problem from all possible angles. Every group member is required to think about the same issues at the same time by putting on 6 different metaphorical hats. Each hat has a different color and represents a particular type of thought process. This is a useful tool which is designed to help the user to systematically analyze the root causes of a problem or issue and to think logically through the different ways in which the problem can be tackled. This technique is similar to mind mapping and involves creating a visual representation of your thought process in relation to a specific problem. Typically, argument maps consist of box and arrow diagrams and often look like flow diagrams. It's good practice to consider the problem from a range of different perspectives, particularly those of the individuals who the problem affects. Depending on the situation, this could include team members, suppliers, or customers. Considering the problem from these different angles can help you identify effective solutions that you may not otherwise have thought of. It can often be helpful to explain the problem to your line manager and discuss the various solutions you're considering. Equally, if you have a trusted colleague or friend who might be able to help you solve the problem due to their background, experience, or network, it can be useful to ask for their advice. When you do this, however, it's important not to reveal any sensitive or confidential information to the other person. Don't be afraid to consider new or even unusual solutions to your problem. If you have evidence to suggest that making changes to working practices or technology will prove beneficial, you should put forward a case for this and, if necessary, present it to the relevant individuals, line managers, senior teams. If there is a cost attached to your proposed change, you should provide the necessary evidence to highlight what the overall cost saving and/or other benefits would be if your solution were to be implemented. Our biases can distort the way in which we perceive reality. Biases that can typically prevent us from solving problems effectively are confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek and choose solutions that fit with a preconceived idea of how the problem should be solved. Overconfidence bias. This is when an insufficient range of options is identified, or when the chosen solution is not measured against factual information because of our confidence in our own judgment. The halo effect. This leads us to make assumptions about others based on a single trait we have witnessed, such as, "She's always cheerful and friendly. She couldn't have possibly caused the problem." The bandwagon effect. This compels us to take the same course of action that others have taken. One of the most effective ways to avoid these biases is to be aware of them. However, if you feel as though your view of a problem or the solutions available is being distorted by one of these biases, it can be helpful to ask a colleague or friend to review the situation from their perspective. If you feel as though you're not making good progress, try taking a break from thinking about the problem. Turning your attention to other, less challenging tasks or going for a walk can be an effective way of doing this. Taking a break will give you the chance to clear your head. The solution may well present itself when you're not focused so closely on the problem. Don't be disheartened if you're unable to solve the problem as quickly as you would like to. Taking your time to find the right solution when you can is always preferable to jumping to conclusions or rushing into making decisions. Just remember to keep those who need to know, like your team members or your line managers, updated in terms of your progress, and to manage their expectations throughout the problem-solving process. And finally, reflect and evaluate. Once your problem is finally solved, take some time to reflect on which aspects of your approach worked and what you would do differently next time. You may be able to apply some of these approaches the next time a problem arises. For more safety resources, visit flchambersafety.com/tips.